So I'm going to assume that you're on a device that's connected to the internet in some way. But do you know how that happened? It is a long journey from start to end, but I'm going to take you through it today. My name's Tenny, and this is Bravado TV. All right, buckle up. The first form of what we now understand as G came in the 1980s. And it could only do one thing, which is make phone calls. So if you wanted to order some last minute pizza in the 80s, you were out of luck. And like, not even the cool kind. Imagine talking through a tunnel filled with static. So yeah, no texting, no apps, no TikTok, no memes. Literally, it was just,
Hi, Grandma, can you hear me? No? All right, bye.
they had one of those phones that you could angrily slam on the thing. I kind of wish we still had those now. You know, like the satisfaction of just, Anyway, statistics-wise, you only got 2.4 kilobytes. Yes, kilobytes. And I know that might not make sense to some people, so I'll break it down. Your phone probably has at least 64 gigabytes of information. 1 gigabyte is 1 million kilobytes. And that was revolutionary for its time. Then came the 1990s. This is where we leveled up. Now we could send texts, make calls, and that was pretty much it. And the text that you could send, you'd abbreviate because you had like 9 keys. The millennials thought that this was brand new, amazing technology, which it was for them. But with this development, we got a massive 64 kilobytes per second speed, which isn't too much of an improvement when you think about where we are today. But to them, it was like, holy smokes, dude, this thing is totally rad. That's what I assume people sounded like in the 90s. These were the days that you would actually prefer to call someone rather than sending a text message. I'm talking no calculator, no YouTube, no books. This was strictly talk and text. Then dropped in the 2000s. And you got the first iPod, the first USB stick, and you got me. And for the first time, the internet came to your phone. By the way, before 3G was 2G, and we covered 1G. I just didn't say 2G, but now we're on 3G, 2000s. We're all caught up. You could finally check your email, and maybe if you were lucky towards the latter end, you could get a really terrible, low-quality cat video. Except it took 2 years to load, so you're probably better off finding a cat. But speeds were a blazing 2 megabytes per second. Things were incredibly fast compared to before. For context, 2 megabytes today couldn't handle Netflix opening sequence. However, people found out about Google and everyone suddenly became a lot smarter, or pretended to be. So we've done 1G, we've done 2G, we've done 3G. Do you know what's coming next? 5G. No, I'm kidding. It's just 4G. 4G happened and we finally entered the modern age. You could literally stream video from your phone. And this is kind of where you see a bit of a divide between the old and the young, because my granddad still probably doesn't know how to use YouTube. But this is when we got HD, you could Google funny videos, and you could have Instagram on your phone. You wanna know what the speeds were? 100 megabytes per second. So if your internet was a bicycle before, it's now a McLaren. So 100 megabytes, HD streaming, app explosion, and you could start to play games on your phone. I think this is when we became most dependent on our phones, because that was around the time that people started to freak out if their signal dropped. So our final chapter, 5G. You probably heard what people have said about 5G, like,
Oh my gosh, this is gonna microwave my brain.
don't worry, it's not true. 5G wasn't just faster than its predecessor. It was basically sorcery at this point. We're talking about going from 100 megabytes to 10 gigabytes. That is 10,000 times as fast as 4G. And I don't think people realize how many things are connected through either 5G or just the internet in general. Your phone, your laptop, your microwave, your Alexa, your fridge. With 5G, I can check on my dog with an app while she's an hour and a half away. This might not seem that surprising to a lot of younger people, but you have to understand that for older people, this was revolutionary. In 30 years, you went from barely being able to hear people on the phone to FaceTiming people across the world. With 5G, I could connect my phone to my car, see my GPS, text my friends. Don't do those things at the same time. That is a crime. But streaming a movie, calling your mom, downloading the entire series catalog of Friends is child's play. We went from having to wait for days for some of these things to seconds. 10 gigabytes is 10 million times faster than 1G, or did they just call it G? I don't know. Did they just call it G? But 5G does still have a downside. It's not always available everywhere. But our Bravado phone plans do have 5G. And guess what? 6G is already in the works. In the meantime, stream as much as your heart desires. And remember, the internet might have started slow. Now it's practically magic.